So I put this out to kind of intrigue people to look through history and to think about what's going on because my Twitter page is only for this. Honestly, it's for us as humanity to come together, and I'm going to show you our architect's the same. I'm going to show you that we all at one time must have lived in a world of peace because from what I'm looking through history photographs and what I've read is absolutely insanity. And I told you guys I'd be able to prove all of this. All of our history, and I hope these guys don't mind that I put them in this video, but at this point in the game, we all got to come together and really find a turning point where we can actually really prove this. And I believe that I have found that. It's going to take some time, though. The problem with it is trying to, educate everyone. If you, this is more for advanced people that have really understood what's going on. This is giving you the keys to the kingdom to tear it apart. Now, Colorado is easy. It is a gold mine. After that, you can start tearing apart the rest of the United States. So back to this about Laramie Street in Denver, Colorado. How can I tie this into history and prove to you guys that I figured out we definitely have been lied to and are I can go toe to toe with anybody on this. I mean, the other thing is the only way you're really going to figure this out, honestly, is you're going to have to really go through and start looking at history and really reading what they're telling you. Okay, so if we go back to Colorado, I want you guys to know this. I was able to tie this in. I remember reading this, and then one of the things that helped me figure this out was honestly as I went through and I was looking for markers in time with flags because I figured that's one of the ways you could actually prove a date and time, at least by what stars are on the flags. And that's the thing when I was going through this and I was trying to put it together. These two drives is where you can go to get the information. Like I said, this is my first drive that I did. I just didn't know how to put this together for people to understand, and that's really hard because you have so many branches of history. Like, how do I put this together for people to understand? When did they make a flag? What national flag for across the United States? Because I'm going to show you in history that they, with the Confederate flag, if you read on that, it talks about how, there was at one time let me see. Hold on, just find it. All right. The thing is you have to take time to read our history and really understand what they're saying. So the first actual demonstration of opposition to Union occurred in Denver on April 4th or April 24th, 1861, just a few days after the bombardment. Okay, so that's where I was able to put this together, and this is, where did I have this one? Okay, so I type in basic questions to like Google because that's everybody's god is Google's the answer. Well, anyway, so I type in questions to to help you guys understand and research and do this. The Confederate States, this side goes that they were soliciting America for a national flag in 1861. And what I'm trying to show you guys here is the history is written by the winner, and I'm going to show you that because with Colorado and its timeline, let's go here. Fires destroyed most of downtown Denver. Flood, yeah, and this is all in everything. So when I was first trying to do this, because I didn't know where to go with this, to help you guys tie all this in together, but I was able to start figuring all of this out with markers in time and being able to prove that our history is way older than what they've taught us. And I'm going to use all of the Colorado cities because I have all of it. I saved everything on all of this, and I have everything. The only thing that is, my proof where I got the information from. Like, did I doctor these photographs? And I'm telling you 100%. I went through and just downloaded every photograph. There's been no doctoring at all. Unless I needed to lighten it up to be able to show a building like this one where it's really super dark. And they did that on purpose. Like, and I'm going to go through, like, Salida. There's so many changes. I mean, like, this train station that they built, and supposedly it wasn't built till, like, 1880 is when they got the train. And you have to understand, like, Colorado, okay? I know, on the internet, you're like, well, who is this guy? What is his credentials? What does he really know? And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm about as average person as you can get as far as being an American. My country, I love this. I'm redneck. I'm going to tell you that's the best life to live. I've had more fun and adventure being a redneck than anything else. And it's just, it's fishing, it's hiking, and that's the thing, because I called it redneck, automatically everyone already gets a discrimination or an idea. But, that's that's the world we live in. They've definitely turned us against one another like vicious little piranhas. And I'm going to show you the stupidity of all this. And I'm going to go through this to show you guys like history and how to look at this. Because it's absolutely insanity when you start thinking about like outhouses, okay? And when they were not available or whatever. And if this is the earliest picture of Salida, and this is in the 1880, after 1880, and I'm going to show you that this is impossible. When I'm done with this, it's going to be like Deliverance Day when I fully get all this out and keep going through this enough, because there's so much to cover. I mean, you can't A to A, man. I'm hot rod. I wanna go. So like I have been all over Colorado. I want you guys to know that. Like here is a picture I took. I don't know, walked up to this mine and was checking everything out. My computer crashed and I only had certain photographs that were saved, and well, this is one of them. So, and to give you guys an idea, like I have literally been all over Colorado. Like this is my favorite place. This is my background. I mean, I hated moving away from it for a while to, go, but that's the other thing. And when you think about your life, where it starts, where it ends up, and all the things that have, privy to this. So because I'm trying to show you guys common sense and what it's like, because you have to think about this in the early days. Okay, this is modes of transportation. This is wood. I've lived in Colorado my whole life. That's why I was able to really. When I figured this out, I was like, this is absolutely bullshit. There's no way. This is, and the World Fairs did it, okay? If you go to my files, let's see. I was going to say I have Chicago and everything because it's tied into Pueblo, and I'll get sidetracked, and that's why this is so hard to keep focus on, like trying to like show you guys like all of this. And you can do your own little tests and stuff, but you have to realize what Colorado is. It's the Rockies. This is where rocks are born. Okay, I know this. I've seen this. I've been in places where I swear to God, the rocks are born and then they migrate out of Colorado. That's how. And I know there's other places. It just made me laugh because I was like, Jesus. And it was trail riding. I was and it yeah. It is. When you realize it, it's like this is, but that's experience in life. So how do you share that with other people? How do you explain transportation? And then if you look in here, no outhouses. And then I'm going to show you fast forward in time. But this is on the flag to prove to you guys. And that's the only way to do it, through each one of these towns and point out the obvious and go through it and show you guys. Because there was a fire that destroyed Salida twice, and I could show you through history that never happened. And then you have to think about it, because I'm trying to help you guys understand, like, when you live in the Rockies, and I hate, pretty much if you're down this line, imagine a line right here, and anything right here, there's nothing except for Rockies. I mean, it's like the battle of the hills. You start in, and most people, what they call mountains, they're foothills, really, because you get up here and you're like, holy, it's absolutely spectacular what God can create. And luckily I've been fortunate enough that God allowed me to see it. Okay, so if we go in here, there's nothing, and I've done a couple of the other videos I did where the trails, how long it took, like, 500 hours to go from here to Kansas and so forth. Okay, so Colorado did not become a happening state until 1870. Otherwise, modes of transportation were this. This is one of the earliest photographs I found at Denver. Okay, this is showing a boiler, and these are showing oxen carrying this. I mean, they kind of look like cow, but I've never seen where they've actually made cow pull something, but who knows? I could tell you our history has altered and changed because they have purposely, and I'm telling you, these are purposely doctored. But I want you to look at the architect in history, and you can put a timetable on this. Because honestly, this is a time when they had no power tools whatsoever. These guys are cutting this wood by hand. They're milling this wood by hand. Where are they getting the wood from? Because I've lived in Colorado, and I'm telling you, what people think wood is available here, there's not. And I'll show you pictures of it. I mean, this puzzle is so huge. And this is just going into Denver. On the flat part, this ain't even going up into the mountains. Let me see if I got that picture. This one, they're going up into Central City. This one, it looks like they had a team of horses pull it. That's a lot of horses. Now think about that. You're traveling through the United States. Now you got to water and feed all these horses before you get the train. And so as I go through this video and try to really help you, I can destroy all of these narratives that they've put out. They're all full of shit, and there's loopholes, everything. Here's another one. A Great Fire burned down in 63, the flood. And this shows, and there was a flood that went through there, but what they're pretending here is it swept through everything, destroyed everything, but it didn't. And I could show you our timelines. They're definitely been altered. Here's another version of how they started the city and so forth. And then the other one, like I said, they've shortened names. They even tell you they shortened Denver's name. I'm like, well, how did they shorten the city of Denver when the guy that founded the place was named Denver or some bullshit? And like I said, it depends on where you read the information from, and it's absolutely insanity. I'm like, this is American history. There should be no alterations. But yet here we are, and you see the Bible. How many times that thing has been written in so many languages, and so many, and people have tampered with that. And if you go look up King James history, yeah, this shit goes way back, and they've been doing it for a long time. It's just now that we finally have entered the end of this. I told you last time, look at wars, financial, everything. And I got it all in my files. You can go through everything. And this is what I'm trying to help people understand. Like, when did they get public services and stuff? When did they, public utilities? When did they get light bulbs? When did they get modern plumbing? All of this. When did they get the telephone? When did the light bulb really become available? And if you go through most of this, I've tried to highlight and transfer, but sometimes it doesn't. So basically it wasn't until 1880 after, like 1881, that they really even started really mass producing any light bulbs. In all honesty, even reading stuff like this, 1882. So how are they going to implement this all? And Colorado had electricity in 1885. Why? I mean, they didn't have any indoor plumbing, but yet they opt for electricity when there was no use for it until they started industrializing it and making it. And I'm telling you, I believe we've had many great resets. The problem is that our history, it's like they let it go, reset it, and then reset the time again. It's like they take away 100 years or 50 years. I don't know, but I could tell you by tree growth, and I could tell you by construction, and when all this stuff became available, they couldn't have done what they did. And so you're still probably like, well, he hasn't gotten to the point where, like, how do you prove this photograph and how do you go through it? Okay, so like I said, all of the photographs that I have, here's the documentation. Like I made sure that and this highlighting really, some of it had meaning in the first, but it's really hard. You look at a photograph and it's like, okay, well, you see this, and then you see this, and then you see this. And the rabbit hole goes deep, because once you know what to look for, it's like the whole world just opens up, and you can see that we've been here way, way longer. And our ancestors, okay, that's what they are, built better quality shit than we ever could today. And I'm being honest. And yet construction is one of the industries that has gone backwards, where profit for labor and materials has gone down. How's that even possible? I mean, first you have to make a brick plant in order to start making enough brick. Think about that for a minute. The first guy that had to make a brick plant, like, he had to go start a fire, make one brick, make two bricks, make three bricks, so he could get an oven going, so that way he could kind of speed up production. And then, probably built a bigger oven so he can, really get production going, so they can start building shit with it. And then it's funny, if you read the ordinance in the ordinance in Salida, which used to be called Arkansas. Like I'm telling you, it's they've changed so many names. Colorado City is Colorado Springs now, and so I'm like, everything they've changed, they've rewritten history. And if anyone thinks that I'm crazy, I'm like, well, look at the fucking evidence I've already pointed out to you. I'm like, this shit is way fucking whack. And I'm like, whoever fucking have studied history should be fucking fired immediately. Because I'm like, I fucking have cracked the door on all of this shit. And I'm like, look, here, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. And like I said, all of the history and photos fucked with and the flags. So let me show you this because this is interesting. I mean, I went through, and it depends on how you put in the verbiage in the public library is when it how you will pick up photographs and stuff. And I've been trying to like collect. And when I first started doing this, they changed a bunch of stuff and all the links that I had went dead. So I just kind of like was like, don't pursue it. But now after watching this for, 2 years or whatever, I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I have to point it out. Like, it is so obvious. Like in these photographs, the flags are altered. And you could tell me they're not, but it's like they did bleaching and you can go through and count the stars on the flag. I was able to figure out that one flag. And then I remember reading the like the rebellion. That's what we are. We're the rebellion again. It's like, man, this is a crazy Twilight story. It really is. I just sit back and I'm like, really, God, this is the road you really had me go down. But for whatever reason, he had me go down it because he knew I was able to put it together. Okay, so let's just keep moving on. Like I said, I'll go through this one kind of quick, but all these photographs, and like this one, okay? And if you count the number of, stripes for stars, like our lines of stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it looks about 5. So this is somewhere between the Civil War and before. And this, as I brought this one out, is to show you time in history. These were state of the art in 1880, supposedly. And here we have a photograph. It's still being in service, and the horse is like, he's like, push it, fatty, push it, or pull it. But I wanted to show you another one where, these are really old and weathered. And so these were the original, and that's just it. They why buy this in 10 years, go to electric and waste all that money? And that's what I'm trying to show you guys is they wasted nonstop money. Like, and I'm telling you, when you figure it out, you're going to be like, holy fuck, we're either, God's, Doc's funny. That's Doc's funny. Okay, so like I said, you can go through my files. I use this Gmail account to show you guys. I'm not here to virus anybody or fuck with anybody's computer. I'm here to show you the truth. Like the craziness. This was built in Denver. Massive, massive, massive mineral building. And it's funny because this ties also into the Chicago World Fair. Not necessarily this building, but this building that was built in Pueblo, Colorado, tied in the Chicago World Fair of 1893. In the photographs, in this one, like I said, you're trying to teach people. This is why I like using my own personal. There's a fire hydrant right here. There's electricity. And supposedly this is built in 1893. Pueblo was already, there was shit all around this. And yet, like all the other weird, like these buildings, these magnificent buildings, like they take a photograph and then they show you it and like there's nothing around it. Like even the weeds are gone. And that's the other weird thing that weirds me out. I've lived in Colorado my whole life. Unless they went through and they've purposely put these weeds down, graded it, then yeah, this is like somebody's done this, or global warming is such a fucking lie. It's not even funny because I've lived in Colorado and fucking weeds grow like you wouldn't believe out here. So anyway, I'm sorry to get fucking pissed, but I'm like sick of the bullshit. I found the truth. If you want to fucking get behind me, get behind me. If not, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Share this with other people that know this, understand this. If you fucking can make a better video about me, about all of this fucking, all of it, I'm telling you, once you start really digging into Colorado, you're like, it's just the inconsistencies, the fucking controversy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And I hate to make these videos so long, but you're trying to cover basically, 40 years of history and show the world the craziness of this. Okay, when did they get the train? History, like I said, it's all in there. This is another one. This wolf. This is how I'm going to show you guys. Markers in time. These buildings. This is of the wolf school. Okay, you can see trees growing in the back. You can see buildings. That's not the one. Let's go back one. And some of these didn't transfer. It really makes me mad. But anyway, here's another one of it, and I'm trying to clean it up as best I can. But here you can see the less buildings. When was this school built? And then you're going to find life is very interesting and very connected. And I'm telling you, Colorado is a very, very, very interesting state. Let me give you guys maybe a treat so, the conspiracy guys can go nuts. So, yeah, when you find out all of this stuff is very, very connected, yeah, you're going to have worlds open up to you. And like I said, I went searching for this, looking for flags with, numbers on or stars on them to try to point out history. And I came across this. And then as I was digging more, I came across this, which is really weird because in Denver, like this wolf school was huge, and these are the photographs that I've collected on it. And I got to get some, but basically, let's go here. Early, is this one at? And like I said, I've tried to highlight everything that I can find. Like what the history is. A great fire burned the district to the ground in 1863. Like I said, and then a flood, and all of it. Like I said, I don't know how to put this together to get people to, understand what I'm really starting to put together for them. So right here, they basically say that this picture is dated, and this circa, and I like to call it circus. This circus is 1873 to 1879. No disrespect to, our history, but to these fucking clowns that have rewrote this shit. You fucking assholes. Like I said, I'm coming for you. I have all the fucking evidence. I'm not going away. I'm just going to get fucking louder and keep making more videos because I figured out how to fucking prove this. But the problem is everybody's like an attention span of fucking 5 seconds. So, and I have that problem too. But when I'm telling you guys, you look at history and you look at these, they already had plumbing installed. This one doesn't show it. This one right here, water lines. That's a 6-inch water pipe. They know that they're feeding a lot of houses. And this one, let me see if I can find the date. This one is supposed to be of 87, I believe. And I'm going to tell you right now, I went through enough of these to show you guys. I got a couple, and that's just it. The more experience you get looking at this, what all this represents and how they laid it out, I'm going to tell you these are more than fire insurance maps. And I believe that this was documentation of the progress or whatever. And then just like that, I'm going to tell you, if you start looking through all the history, and this is where you have to go, is all the names on companies and towns and on buildings. It absolutely shows you that something happened to us. We got conquered somehow. We forgot. I don't know. But I'm telling you, the evidence that I have, you can't build what you did in 30 years until you got the train, and then within that 30 years built what you did. It's impossible. And I'll keep going down. But to prove to you guys, like even Salida, there was a fire, and I can show you in photographs and documentation, and I'll keep using the library, and hopefully that wasn't what got me hit. I don't know what got me hit, so I'm walking on this very, very slowly. And so let's go back one. I really want to show you something. And for all of you that, have worked through this and the painfulness, because I have ADD, I don't know where to go with any of this to show you guys. But when you start understanding what I'm telling you guys, that's the damn picture I was looking for, and I had to go search another place. But you look at these pictures, and the flags are altered. The trees are not, but the flags are. There's no wind. Her dress is nothing, but yet the flags are somehow mysteriously, yeah. And I'll show you another one that I like. This one, I believe this was at the time of the Civil War. And let me see here. This is it right here. Like you can't tell the American flags, and I don't know if those look like they've been altered, and that's just it. When you start looking at the uniforms and the way that they're dressed, is another way to place time. Telephone poles, telephone lines, and if you go up here, you got one, two, three, four, five, five, five rows. One, two, three, four. Is there six? One, two, three, four, five. You got five. So this tells you history. This is a marker in time. I'm telling you, I was born for this. For whatever reason, God, yeah, and jokes. He likes jokes, let me tell you. So start looking through history and look at these photographs that, see where the manipulation is. Let me find the other one that I want. Sorry, guys. I should have had this better prepped out. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Well, this one, like I said, you could see where they faded the stars out. I mean, this flag should be easily identified what stars are on that flag, but it's not. And oh God, please tell me it's in here. And that's the problem. I've been trying to load all this stuff, and it's absolutely a nightmare. It like does weird, just weird stuff. Where I'm like, how come? Why did you put that there? But so that's oh, here it is. This one. So I kind of blew it up so you can see it. Somebody put a Sharpie through this. And then if you go back to, this is up in Leadville, and this looks like 16 or 1860 something, and you got gas lights and power lines and telephone lines. I mean, I'm going to assume that these are telephone lines and these are gas lights. But that's just it. You have to think about how long it took for them to put in gas lights. And that's and it's here's the part that gets me, okay? Is all of this in Colorado is basically from 1870 to 1900. All of these cities come alive. They lay all the railroad track. They do all the mining, and that's the. Like I said, this is the funniest fucking story. When I started looking at it through history, and I was like, "Oh, you got to be fucking shitting me!" No wonder why we couldn't have any pictures. Okay, so let's go back to shared files. And then I'm sorry for this, but it was fucking hell doing these. And anyway, Colorado State is the newest and latest and greatest conversion. And let me go into here, mining. And so I took all these pictures off the web, and the let me find one. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, like these guys were the reason CF&I was built, the 5 smelting plants in Pueblo was built. Yeah, these guys are tearing this shit up. Just what is this? Established Blackhawk, and like Blackhawk 2, they had a couple of fires come through and rage it just so they could hide history. But you can see the amount of and this right here, this looks like where they were using water canyons to mine. And the other one I want you guys to look at, okay? This is Blackhawk. There ain't no fucking trees here. And then all of a sudden, like you go through time, because I worked up here, I put in the Ameristar Hotel. And that's the thing, guys. Like I said, I'll stop this video because it's already almost 30 minutes, and I know most people don't have an attention span. But let me see if I can find some stuff. So I don't know where to even start with all of this because it's just Doc. I mean, that's where you have to start at the beginning. Doc created all of this. This is where we're at. This is his crazy ass show, and we're just parts of it. All right. Like I said, I don't. I honestly believe Doc directed my whole life so I could be here to expose this at this time. And you can believe it or not, but yeah. So I happen to be the electrician. Like I said, I've been all over Colorado. I've been up, down, left, right, and I was part of this. Like I worked on the, I worked in the 8th floor electrical room for like 3 months, bending 1-inch conduit every damn day. And it was a good gig. We had a good time building it, But that's what I'm trying to tell you is I've been all over Colorado. I've met a lot of great people. Met a lot of great construction workers. A lot of smart individuals and stuff. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is if you look at these before when this is barely in the beginning. So how is it? And like I said, when you figure this out, like you're it's gonna trip you out because here's the thing: if they're doing water excavation of the cannon, because that's what it looks like. I mean, they've gone through and just sliced this because I really doubt that you had a bunch of guys just digging this out. But anyway, and you could see some pipe and stuff down here. Where'd they get the water from? This is early outhouses. I mean, it's absolutely here we go. This one, even this, they already fucked up on this. Established 1859. Okay, well, and maybe that's when they're saying the mountain city was established. But here we got telephone lines, and I'm telling you, outhouses. Where's the outhouses? I mean, if this is the outhouse, I mean that's fine. I mean, whoever dug this out in order to make a good But if that wall ever blew out, I mean that's going to be a shit show and a half. I mean these two houses are wasted. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to tell you when you use common sense. Like, who I am is a construction guy. And I understand what it takes to move materials. I understand what it takes to, like I said, God sent me on this. So this is the modes of transportation until they got the railroad. This is what they would have had to take up there. Because I'm telling you, they didn't cut down all the trees to make all these because these are not the normal typical wood cabins that you see in Colorado that are just, yeah, it looks like the beginning of time as those things are built. And these are all well built. They're shingled, everything. And so that means they had to get a wagon. Like I said in my last video, going over a mountain pass with this crew, like, I mean, I don't know how good the brakes are on this, but there's no put it in low gear and just let it crawl down. Should I be so scared? I'm pretty sure it's happened where a wagon's got in one of those mountain passes, whatever's gotten out of control and just killed horses. Just anyway, but I'm trying to tell you, there's no way in the time frame. I'm telling you, to move materials up to do all this, it's impossible. And like I said, identification of buildings and where they're at in time and figuring all this out. It's been a privilege to be able to have that from God. The one thing that I've always searched for was solid answers into our world. And the world never made any sense with history and the way things were written. The only thing I believed in was the Bible. And even now I believe that that's been really tampered with. But, you come to your own conclusions. This is just for you to see and spread the word. I got these fuckers. I have them. There's no way that if I got some really talented guys and was able to put together something and it's there, the proof, wiring, telephones, pictures, documentation, the stupid history that they write, and I've went through it all. And so go through my drives, because that's all I do now is focus on this to expose the truth, because this is a war. This is a war for us. And trying to get all of these, it's absolutely crazy. I have more photographs that I'm going to load, but this one was really the kicker one. Let's see if it's on here. And this is how I know that this is. So if you look at the quarry, about time Lincoln took charge. So if we go back to that flag that was hanging over Lamar Street or Laramie Street, you can put the pieces together and start to see, like, we've been here way longer and we lived at peace with harmony, and we actually did better for the environment than we are today, because I showed you the pictures. Because there wasn't anything growing on those mountains. How long have we been here? How many, what timelines have merged with ours? Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. So when you figure it out and the true answers to the questions I've just kind of asked, then yeah, you're at the same spot I am. You just at this point in the game, you just have to have full faith in God, and now I do. Not that I didn't before, but yeah, Doc's a crazy Doc. So I didn't mean to ramble on this long. I just really want to, and I don't know. I was scared to put this picture up too. because I don't know if this is what got me taken down. Okay. This thing is so fucking photoshopped, it's not even funny. And I found so many photographs that are photoshopped, tampered with, altered. It's just, I'm like, why are you fucking hiding history? So maybe this video will help somebody, work with me and get this fucking exposed for what it is. Cause I'm ready. I've been through this. I worked on this for, 2 years, going through everything to make sure that what the fuck I had exposed. And yeah, it's scary. I mean, when you figure this out and you realize what it is, and you're trying to go up against all of this corruption, and that's the thing. If you go into here, like most people, did I close it out? Yeah, I must have closed it out. Anyway, there's a thing in here where it goes over Denver history, and this is this is what I really want to focus on too. In the last part of this video, is this was on the Chicago World Fairs, and I looked. All the buildings had some kind of inscription on them. But how do you find history? Through lies. And how do you point the truth out? You have to go through it. And this is basically white trash entertainment. I don't know how else to I mean, how do you cover yourself? Because people, the YouTube gods, like, you can't freely speak about anything without being subject to some kind of censor, or just, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you guys will maybe see what I pointed out, and then maybe we can work with somebody and really get this going to show, like, hey, there's no way they could have built what they did. They've been lying to us about fucking history. I got all the documentation, and I'm gonna go through it and expose each city. But the problem is it's so fucking complex. There's so much to fucking cover. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Let's continue to help each other out and move forward, because that's all we can do.